going on, people? You know who I am. It's your boy Nando. You know what this show is. It's the Pound for Pound Boxing Show in association of Seconds Out Coffee and Warren Boxing Management. I haven't got their logo with me, but you know Warren Boxing Management. Big up the guys at Warren Boxing Management. Alfie, Sonny, Freddie, Bobby, and everyone even at Priory Boxing, Mo Pryor as well. Today I've got a very special guest, the Commonwealth Cruiserweight Champion, Chris Billam-Smith. Let's see if we can get Chris on right now. How you doing, mate?
Hello, mate. You all right?
Perfect. You?
Yeah, all good. Sorry about the mix up there.
That's all right, mate. We got there in the end.
Yeah.
How's things? How's training? How's camp?
Yeah, really good. Yeah, really good. It's the last hard week of training now before we start tapering down. So I'll be doing my sparring and last spar this week, probably Thursday. So yeah, it's just about staying sharp now. Getting ready for fight week.
Amazing. Any particular names, if you're allowed to say, who you've been sparring?
I've been sparring Ben Vickers this camp, then a bit of Lawrence, and then a guy called Devon Miller. He's come in as well, and a few other lads as well. Just mixed it up really quite a lot, but mainly Ben and Devon have given me most of the work, to be honest. This camp, some good hard rounds.
Amazing. Before we move on to this next fight, let's talk about your last fight, Vasyl Dukar, back in March as well, March 31st, captured the WBA Continental Cruiserweight title. Give us your analysis of your performance that night. I thought it was a good performance. It was solid throughout. Felt very comfortable in there, and I think because of the disappointment of the fights falling out beforehand, I was meant to box Leon Juma for the British in November, then again on that show, and then I think the fight got announced about 3 weeks before. So I think I was just kind of happy to get a fight, but also just to get it out of the way. And move on to bigger and better things. It was all right. It was things that we worked on that paid off in the ring, and I got done in the ring. But there was plenty to work on as well. So it was an average performance, I'd say. But obviously got the win, and that's the main thing. You know what? In boxing, sometimes things happen for a reason. One door closes, the other one opens, and maybe it was a blessing in disguise, because now your next fight is next week against Tommy McCarthy, and not only is it for the vacant British title, you're defending your Commonwealth, and you're fighting for his European title. That just is a main event. Just looking at that fight as well. Obviously, we knew about this fight after Tommy's last fight. Eddie confirmed it. When you first heard that it was going to be at the Matchroom Garden, and this spectacular event that's going to happen over the past 3 weeks after starting from the 31st of July. Sum up your feeling when you first heard it was going to be at that event, and also when you went to the press conference and everyone was in his backyard.
Yeah, it was. It's good. Obviously, I was fortunate enough to box from the last fight camp last year against Nathan Forley, and that was a good experience. And so yeah, I'm really excited. The whole obviously launch of DAZN and all that as well is huge, and it was a big event, big press conference there. And this time there's going to be fans there as well, so I've got a few fans coming and stuff like that. So I'm really excited to have fans back, especially after watching the World Cup and all the fans being back at events recently with Silverstone at the weekend and all that. Just it's really giving me the bit between my teeth with having fans back too.
Amazing. Let's talk about your next opponent. Obviously, Tommy McCarthy, the current European champion. What did you think of his last performance? When was it? In April, against the Romanian fighter. Yeah,
I thought he boxed well. He did what he had to do. It was a bit of he didn't really offer too much as an opponent, but it was Tommy boxed well, did what he had to do, and eventually got him out of there. So he did okay, but like I said, there wasn't much to take from that fight looking at it, because Zhur didn't offer too much. And he doesn't box that similar to me or anything like that, so it's not really much I can take from it. He just did what he had to do.
what strengths do you see in Tommy McCarthy bringing to this fight? What is it that you have to be wary of?
He's got quick hands. He's got a decent boxing IQ. Obviously, a very a successful amateur. He boxed, for Ireland as an amateur and stuff. So he's got that boxing IQ. He's got speed. He's got some good footwork, and he's got a good variety in his punches as well. So yeah, he's got pretty much the whole package. But we'll see how he deals with me. I think a lot of people get a shock when I step in the ring with them, and whether that's sparring or in a fight. I think they get a big shock of my strengths, and they realise maybe there's things you can't see from the outside looking in. We have to experience being in there, and then by that time it's usually too late to figure me out. So I think the style should gel really well, and I think I can do a bit of everything. I can box and I can fight, so I'm really excited about the fight as a whole. I think the fans are in for a treat.
Is what you just said about your style of fighting, would you say that's what makes you different from, he's had 20 fights, 18 wins, the 18 opponents that couldn't do the job, is that what makes you different from those 18 opponents? The fact that you can hit, the fact that you can box, the fact that you can adapt to every style of your opponent, what he brings to the ring as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's one of my best attributes is I'm adaptable, and I think I've kind of shown that. I've boxed on the front foot, I've boxed on the back foot at times in my fights, and I've stood there and had wars with some people and shown my toughness, shown my chin, showed my punch power, resilience, my heart, my fitness. So I've shown all the attributes I need to keep progressing throughout the sport and throughout the levels. So I think I just think as well, I think my development over the last year, I haven't really been able to show it yet, which is another thing for me, another, I guess, gift for me going into this fight, because I'm really feeling like I'm getting some really good form at the moment. I'm sparring really well, and and I think that my development is just ongoing as it has been throughout my career.
There seems to be a little bit of a rivalry between you two, because when his last fight during fight week, I obviously interviewed him, and Sky, DAZN, they all interviewed him as well, and he just your name was brought up, and he just generally wanted to fight you. He said he's going to knock you out and so on. Where did this rivalry come from? Where did it start from?
I guess it all just came from the one tweet I sent. We really wanted to fight him. We were getting feedback that he wasn't up for it, and then in a lot of interviews he was saying how I'm a step back and everything. So I sent out a tweet hoping that he'd bite on it, saying that I'd punch holes in it, and he did, and that obviously really got his back up, because he hasn't stopped talking about me since. So I got what I needed out of doing something, a bit out of character as such, but it was needed, and they got the job done. So I think it all stems from that, and then he obviously since then hasn't really stopped talking about me or saying what he's going to do and stuff. But it's good for the fight. It means he's very much motivated, because he can't talk all that talk without walking the walk. So he's obviously going to have a good camp. So I'm excited, because I get a chance to box and beat the best Tommy McCarthy there is. So I'm excited about that.
Are you, obviously, it should be an honour for yourself to be part of such a historic event. What Matchroom are doing, obviously, in the back garden. Obviously, there's been a lot of controversial with the ticket prices and so on, but it is a historic event for the first 3 weeks. Obviously, it's the first show being on DAZN as well. Are you somewhat a little bit disappointed that this fight ain't the main event of your own show? Because all 3 belts, it deserves to be that.
It could be a main event for a show, but it doesn't disappoint me anyway. I'm just, I'm not one that's about getting being headline or anything like that. Obviously, I'd love to have a show back home in Bournemouth, which would then make sense for me to headline a show at home. But I'm just, looking forward to fighting for, like you say, the 3 belts, and putting on a performance for the few fans that have bought tickets there, and obviously all the fans watching on DAZN as well. So
It doesn't bother me with regards to us being a headliner or first on the show. I'm just looking forward to getting in the ring.
Brilliant. And not to give too much away of your game plan, but do you think that the fight will go the distance, Chris?
No, I don't. No, I think I'll take him out in the mid to late rounds.
Brilliant. Another question I wanted to ask you is I'm not trying to stir the pot or anything. It's a general question because you know what? Despite people being stable mates, business is business. When I interviewed Tommy, he said, "Whoever is my next fight, I'll get through them, and I want Lawrence Okoli next." So obviously winning these 3 belts could set up, and I know mandatories come into it because Juma obviously he wants his shot at the British title of the winner of this fight, and obviously the board might order a straight mandatory defense. But if the opportunity came, has there ever been any talk in camp between you and Okoli that maybe one day 2 stable mates might meet in a domestic fight for a world title? Obviously you're both trained by Shane McGuigan, so it is a little awkward there. But can it ever happen?
No, it won't ever happen. And me and Lawrence have become friends over the years. He's a few steps ahead of me. You know, he's won the British, Commonwealth, European. Now he's obviously won a world title, and he's looking to unify world titles now as well. And then looking after that to move up to heavyweight. It's a conversation me and Shane had when he joined the gym. You know, because obviously we basically what other people would think about that and how it would work, and we mapped the routes out, and to be honest, it's worked out perfectly. We've mapped the routes out, so Lawrence wins all his belts and vacates them, and then I pick him up along the way. He's just a few years ahead of me, or a few fights ahead of me in his career, and that's just how the game works. But no, me and Lawrence aren't, you know, we're not just stable mates, we're mates as well now, and I couldn't have been happier for him when he won his world title. It was a real good night. Obviously, we boxed, all of us, me, Fowler and Lawrence, on the same show, and we were there supporting him after our fight. So no, that will never happen, that fight. But I'll be looking when if he unifies the whole division, undisputed, and moves up, or he, you know, just unifies and moves up. We'll see. But yeah, I'll be looking at world titles probably in a few fights' time. I think Tommy has been screaming for a world title fight. But I think he just wants to fight for a world title. But I think you have to be ready to win a world title, and then once you're there, you got to stay there, which is the hard thing. So that's what I want to, you know, keep developing as a fighter, keep developing as a boxer as well, and just keep proving my worth in these sorts of fights and learning all the way. So when I get to that level, I can win a world title and stay there. I don't just want to fight for one for the sake of fighting for one. I want to win one and stay there. So I think that's the difference between me and Tommy talking about our next fights.
Brilliant. Obviously, the focus is Tommy, but getting past Tommy, winning that British belt, winning that European belt, would you be open for that fight that never happened with Juma, that mouth-watering domestic fight that everyone was looking forward to? Would you welcome that as the next fight after that?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd welcome that fight. Obviously, it was a fight I was really looking forward to and kind of expected to fight him twice. But you never know in this game what can happen, whether there might be someone in Europe who wants to fight for my European belt once I win it. So, and then you're in a situation where it's British or European, and obviously as prestigious as the British is, the European is obviously European. But look, hopefully that fight can happen down the line, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens and how the whole scope develops after this fight, and the whole, you know, scene of the cruiserweights in Britain and Europe develops, and what options there are for myself as well.
Brilliant. Canelo Alvarez has always said that his loss to Floyd Mayweather wasn't a loss to him, it was a learning curve. Do you believe your loss to Richard Riakporhe was a learning curve for you and it's made you a better fighter going forward in your career since that fight?
Yeah, absolutely. That fight was actually 2 years ago today, I think.
I know, I was going to bring that up.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was a fight that, you know, at the time and still now, we thought I won. It was a razor close fight. With a bit more experience, some maybe would have got it over the line in the judges' eyes as well. But no, I've just got straight back on the horse, and obviously went in with a dangerous fight against Craig Glover, who's I think a massively undervalued cruiserweight. Obviously hasn't boxed, but if he got back on the scene, he'd be right in the mix again with all these names that are mentioned that are fighting for eliminators and stuff like that. So for me, that is a big win. And then obviously since then I've had the Nathan Forley fight and the Dusar fight last. So the different styles, but yeah, I think I've really improved since that fight, and I haven't been out of the gym since that fight either. I'm always in the gym, always staying fit. I don't drink or anything like that. So for me, it's just about constantly progressing, like throughout, whether that's win, lose or draw. And that's just always been my mindset since I was an amateur. So that's what I did after that fight. We went back in the gym and improved, and got on to the next thing. I think you can't dwell on your losses too much. You just got to use them to motivate you further and keep improving. So that's what I've done. And I think now obviously it's paying off. Technically it's only 3 fights since the Riakporhe loss, and I'm fighting for the Commonwealth, British and European titles. So it's just by staying active and staying on it. So yeah, I definitely used it to my advantage.
Yeah, sometimes a loss early in your career is a blessing in disguise, and you saw what's happened with Canelo Alvarez, and you've seen it with other fighters as well. My question to you is, obviously, it's been 2 years today since that fight. It's been 2 years since Richard Riakporhe actually fought. No one knows what's happening with his career. That fight, I remember online, split boxing fans. Some say he won, some say you won. I'm sure he will want to get into the mix. He vacated his British title. Obviously, by beating Tommy, you're going to have bigger belts, the Commonwealth, the European. Sure, he wants to get back into the mix. Would you welcome a rematch with Richard Riakporhe to make that last fight, put it right, and prove who the better man is?
Yeah, absolutely. We always, as fighters, you want to avenge your losses. But at the same time, I'm not chasing that fight. It's not like I've moved on with terms of my career. Rich Dad, he boxed once after me, boxed Jack Massey, but but it's if like I said, everything changes all the time in this industry. So if he comes back, I doubt he'd want to come back straight into a fight with me, to be honest, because he wasn't too keen on the rematch, I don't think, anytime soon after that fight, because he knows what a hard fight it was for him, and especially now, as much as I've improved, he's probably not going to want to come back after such a long layoff and straight into that sort of fight. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I think Richard needs to get back in the ring. I think he had a few issues, maybe with management or something. So I hope he gets those sorted. And we want all these fighters that have had injuries or management issues back, because it's not just about me. It's about the cruiserweight scene as a whole. So we can all fight each other and all make it exciting for the fans, especially the British boxing fans. We've got plenty of good cruiserweights in the country. So if they're all back healthy and fighting, no issues, then that's what you want as a boxing fan. And it's a pleasure to be involved in that.
Brilliant. Let's talk about your coach, Shane McGuigan, someone who's very experienced in the game. What's it like being part of that camp with Shane? And obviously, I'm sure his dad is sometimes in the gym there, being around a legend like Barry, who's been there, done that, and I'm sure he gives you guys lots of advice and tells lots of stories when he won a world title and etc. What's it like being part of that gym and that family?
Yeah, it's always been an honour for me ever since the day I've had the phone call with Shane about joining and came up and had a chat with them all. So it's always been an absolute honour, and it's only got better because the gym as a whole has had lots of fighters come and go, but there's always been top quality fighters, and it's like you say, it is a family. Barry's always in the gym, every spar, whether that's me or Fowler or Lawrence or whoever it is. He's always in the gym for spars. He absolutely loves it, and his passion's still there. And it's really admirable for someone who's achieved so much. Come and watch me, some lad from Bournemouth who hasn't achieved half of what what he's achieved, and he's there giving me advice and supporting me, and it's great to have him involved in my career. So yeah, and obviously like you said with Shane, he's such a great coach at such a young age. It's mad really, but he keeps improving all of us. And yeah, and I think his resume speaks for itself. So it's a pleasure to be involved in the gym, and with the lads that are coming through as well, who have joined. Like obviously Lawrence and Fowler have joined since I joined the gym, and Luke Campbell as well. So yeah, it's just you get to learn off so many quality fighters, and then obviously we've got Shane and Barry too. So if you can't make it in this sort of environment, then I don't think you can ever make it. So I'm just trying to make the most of it.
Brilliant. And I'm sure, obviously, seeing Lawrence, we said at the beginning of the interview, you were there when he won the world title. I'm sure that gives you inspiration as well. And then another stablemate that you've mentioned, Anthony Fowler, he wants that rematch with Cheeseman. Where can you see that going? Who can you see Fowler fighting eventually?
They're obviously got a tough fight out next. He's a guy who's been around the game, and he's got a really tough fight. But Fowler's this camp is definitely the best I've ever seen him. He sparred so well this camp. There must be someone in the water at the moment down here, because I'm sparring really well. He's sparring really well. Lawrence is training really well as well, and he's done a bit of sparring, but obviously his date's been moved back. But yeah, I'm excited for Fowler. I don't know what's next for him. Maybe he'll push on. I think a lot of the domestic guys, I think Eggington would take the fight with him, and there's a couple of other fights. So I don't know if he's going to go beyond British level and then end up just going for a world title eliminator or what. But he's progressing so well, and I think he's going to be one of the most exciting talents in Britain. I think after this next fight, people will really start realising how quality he is. So yeah, it's great to see, and great to have him in the gym as well.
Brilliant. Another person that joined your gym the last few months is Daniel Dubois. Last minute, obviously he was with Mark Tibbs, left, came to Shane. Within 3 weeks, he had his fight. Looked like they gelled well together. It looked like Daniel, the loss with Joyce didn't affect him at all. He made a statement against his last opponent as well, and it's good to see him back. It really is. He didn't deserve the abuse he got online. He's still young. A lot of people, said, "Oh, he's done. He's this and that." But mate, he's still learning in the game, and I think with someone like Shane, he could take him really far. How far can you see Daniel going, and what's it like having him in the gym? And how hard can he hit? What's these rumors that he's this punching power that everyone talks about?
Yeah, he can really whack. I've seen him in the gym sparring some big blokes as well. I mean, I've shared the ring with him as well. So yeah, I know how hard he hits, and I shared the ring with him once before his last fight, and then a couple of years ago as well. But now, I said to Shane the other day, I said, I don't think I want to spar him anymore, because now he's had a bit more time with Shane, and he's sped his work up, and he's rotated more, and it's scary because he's such a good athlete anyway, but he's still only probably 40-50% of the boxer he can be, and he's tapping into that untapped potential. He's such an athlete. I saw him lifting today, hitting new PBs with a strength coach. So yeah, he'll go all the way, and there's no doubt about that. I think he's got the mindset for it. He's very much sort of tunnel vision about what he wants. Like you said, he's still so young, but in a couple of years' time, with Shane working with him for a couple of years and unlocking all that untapped potential, then it's going to be scary to what he's capable of, because he is an unbelievable talent.
100%. And can you see that rematch with Joe Joyce ever happening again? Because they keep I'm not saying avoiding it, but in a sense of they moved on. Joe now wants that world title fight. Dubois, Daniel, he's gonna go for that as well. Can you ever see these guys meeting again? And it would be great to see them have a rematch with one of them or both of them defending a world title?
Yeah, I think that'll be what it will be. It'll be for a world title. There's no reason, if you're Joyce's team, to come back to the Daniel fight unless he's offering something, and vice versa. You know, it's no point of Daniel going there until Joe has got something. So obviously Joe's got a really good fight this weekend against Carlos Takam, which I expect him to come out on top of and maybe stop Takam mid to late rounds. But yeah, it's I think their names will always be linked. You know, obviously now they have Box, and I think as they keep winning titles and getting right up the world rankings, I think definitely see that fight again in a couple of years' time, and it'd be, you know, another great fight for the fans.
Brilliant. Yeah, I look forward to that fight, and I hope it will be for a world title. It will be more at stake, more fans, a bigger venue as well. It deserves that as well. What's your opinion? Obviously, AJ versus Usyk is in the pipeline. It's going to happen. They're saying 25th of September, Tottenham Stadium. What's your opinion on this fight? Is it a walkover, or can it be a banana skin for AJ fighting Usyk?
Yeah, it could be a potential banana skin. You know, I think AJ's sort of looked in a little bit in between styles, it seems, in his last couple of fights. You know, he used to be very much basic, hands high, and sort of just walk through people. But seen the low left hand, lead hand a couple of times, and then yeah, just trying a few things out. But it's you know, Usyk's an unbelievable talent. I've heard rumours of people going over to spar him and then doing 4-minute rounds of 30-second rest, sparring 12 to 15 rounds. So he's got an unbelievable engine, and yes, it's an exciting fight for the fans as well.
Brilliant. My colleague Jermaine just said it's been confirmed today. So AJ versus Usyk, Tottenham Stadium. I think it's the 25th of September. So brilliant, brilliant fight. And you know, Eddie Hearn, the undercard will just be incredible as well. So as boxing fans, is a real treat, especially what we've been through for the last 18 months. It would be great to get, even if it's not full capacity, a big crowd in that stadium. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, a few of my mates were talking about if that fight happens at Tottenham, then we'll have to go, because one of them lives right by the stadium. So I think we're going to have to make a weekend of it. Hopefully we can get some tickets and get along to the fight. So, but yeah, like you said, if we can have a full capacity crowd, that'd be unbelievable.
No, 100%. As boxing fans, we deserve it. Even as sports fans, we deserve it, what we've been through the last 18 months. So fingers crossed, things go well, and we can get a full capacity crowd as well. Chris, before I let you go, do you have a message for your fans for next week, 31st of July? Benn, Granados undercards, Matchroom, was it Matchroom Garden, Matchroom Fight Week, Fight Camp, week one?
Fight Camp, I guess. I don't know what it's called, but no, I've had so much support throughout camp, and people saying they're looking forward to watching it. Just to remind them, it's on DAZN and not Sky Sports, so make sure you download the DAZN app. And then thank you for your support, and tune in for a great night.
That's a great promo for the app, Chris. Remember, guys, it's $1.99, so
it is.
Download that, subscribe. Chris, before another thing, do you have a final message for Tommy McCarthy for next week's fight?
No final message. I'm sure I'll see him on Fight Week, and he might have some words to say. No final message. Just I hope he's prepared well.
Brilliant. Chris, I want to say thank you for taking your time to speak to us today. It's been an honor. And I wish you and Tommy the best of luck next week. May the best man win. And as boxing fans, we're hoping for a great fight. Good luck with everything.
Yeah, thanks for having me, mate. I really appreciate it.
Take care, mate. Stay safe.
Cheers, mate. And you take care. Bye-bye.
Take care.